torture by psychiatrists had only come to an end about 1940, when it was replaced by less expensive but no less invasive chemical therapy. Freedom and the very life of the hundreds of thousands and today even millions of patients were completely entrusted to this new scientific order. I believe that was, I believe in medical science. I'm a nurse myself, used to be, but I believe that Satan is abusing it to deprive people from their sanity, to deprive people from their freedoms, to make people addictive to whatever, yes, medication. And once people are into it, yes, they lose their freedom, they lose some of the aspects of the image of God. I've been pastoring in Berry, not far from you, for some years, and I met a guy. He seemed to be a really nice guy and quite normal, but he was on disability, and we were running this out of cold program, in Berry. So he was a street guy, but he had his apartment. He lived, comfortably enough. So I got to talk to him. His name was Stephen, and I told him, Stephen, tell me a little bit about yourself. What are you doing? And he told me, I was going to church, and I was good boy. And then I started working. I was working at some factory in Berry. And then one day, as I was going home from work, I was on the bus. I heard a voice, and it was like told me it was like a voice of Jesus. And the voice told me, said, Stephen, it's been a long time since we talked. And he was freaked out, and who wouldn't? Well, I know. So I don't know whether it was God or Satan or it was just his. But anyways, if it would be God, it wouldn't be different. If it was Jesus himself, it was Archangel Gabriel, it wouldn't be different. Next day, he goes to the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist gives him a pill, and he starts taking those pills, and the psychiatrist puts him on disability, and he was grateful for it, because now it's been like some 20 years, he doesn't work, he lives comfortably in his apartment, he takes those pills, and he doesn't hear this voice. Wow. So again, I don't claim that it was the voice of Jesus. But if it was the voice of Jesus, I'm sure that those pills have taken care of it. And I'm sure that so many people, so many pews are empty because people now taking pills and they feel comfortable enough. They don't need comforter. They have this small comforter. And they forgot about this big comforter. Okay, my wife is putting me harder this time. so okay, yes. Is it? Yeah. Okay. It seems that the spiritual, cultural, and intellectual atmosphere of the year 1844 was such that people were faced with the necessity of some important and far-reaching in consequences spiritual choices. Those choices that were made not in relation to the person of Jesus Christ, the choices made outside of the Christian context, and the context of the nearness of the second coming of Jesus Christ, and most importantly, and I didn't put it so I could say it to you in person, the outside of the century. Whatever is outside of the century, it was not perfect. It was partial and misleading choices. Elijah Bondura in Adventist Review notices, behind this denial of Redeemer and the self-deification was pantheism. The religion that was everything in nature, including humans, is divine. In a major invocation, radical thinkers extended this pantheism to the atheistic works, philosophical systems, and abstract ideas. The sanctuary perspective 1844, however, has been focused on the person of the Redeemer, Jesus Christ, in his priestly role. It is the ultimate source and the focus of all theology, including the theology of the year 1844. It is interesting that the message of all the mentioned groups are either mimicking or opposing the message of what the Bible calls the remnant. The New Age assertion on the beginning of the new dispensation resembles Adventist message of the special end times. But while the Adventist message suggests dramatic and catastrophic character of the world's transformation caused by the events of the second coming of Jesus Christ, New Age proposes an evolutionary development of the society made possible at this age. The case with the New Age groups is similar to that of the Baha'i faith. Both promote an evolutionary view on societal development and the time of the new dispensation. The year 1844 had been an appointed time for the mighty angelic trumpet proclaiming the arrival of the time of the end. While many have heard this trumpet, it is only the people of the Word of God who were capable, little by little, to discern the message behind the thunderous voice from heaven. It seems that without the divinely appointed hearing aid instrument, the Word of God, it is impossible to discern the depths of the divine revelation. Even though the trumpet was so loud that it would be heard even in Persia and all around the world, it is only through the century message that we can really see what was the reason, what was really happening, what was really happening.
Have you seen people heard the trumpet?
I don't think they heard, the sound of the trumpet, but the general mood, the agitation, the philosophical attitudes, the discoveries, the excitement, all of this, that was bombarding people in such a way that, that was a radical, pivotal year in the gospel. Yes. The feeling that something is happening, the feeling that something is in the air. But what is it? That could only the Word of God give that. And that's why the Lord at this time has chosen the people for himself who would explain what is this noise all about. The people who would explain that this mood, that this changes, that these happenings, they are not accidental and they are not caused by the stars lining up and they are not caused by some prophetic imams of Islamic religion and they are not caused by the Hindu philosophers, but it is Jesus Christ who is doing something. It is Jesus Christ who is the initiator of this event. It is Jesus Christ and his ministry that we should look at. You see, when it is not in the focus, then all the picture is falling apart. When you have this understanding that Jesus is doing something for us, and that at this time he has stepped into his last ministry, then all of those pieces, all of those fragmented teachings, they fall into one beautiful, divinely inspired picture of the last days. So the sanctuary is not some sort of a luxury that the Christian could learn when there is nothing else for them to learn, when they learn all the other things. No, the sanctuary message is a message that puts all things together into one perspective. Without the sanctuary message, we cannot really see the picture of the world we live in. This is something that gives us the right perspective on what's happening in this world. And in this afternoon, we'll also talk about the correspondence. And we'll start with it. I was planning on this part, but but the rope is really tight now. So yeah, so I will share with you briefly not only this the pioneer discovery, but also how the Jubilee message, because the trumpet was sound on the day of Jubilee, right?
Yeah.
The Day of Atonement would initiate the Jubilee year. So we will learn how the Jubilee message of the Old Testament corresponds to the three angels' message of the New Testament. And this is a beautiful, beautiful and mostly practical picture. So may the Lord bless you, and may the Lord dissolve by faith all the knowledge that you receive in this.
Amen.